And then, as we move towards those goals, it comes down to how are you communicating with them as a leader to keep them on track towards those goals, going back to the mentorship component and giving them the guidance they need in order to reach those goals. Talking about guidance and that mentorship component gets us into our fourth key to transformational leadership, which is freedom. And when I talk about freedom here, what I'm talking about is giving your team that clear vision to work towards, those challenging goals that they're working towards, and then giving them the freedom to figure out their job, giving them the ownership over that problem so they can figure out the best way to solve it. This can be a really scary thing as a leader because you're kind of just opening them up to it. You're opening them up to possible failure. But the real key there is you can't look at the failure without seeing the possible success as well. You as the leader are opening them up to that freedom. They might fail on a project. They might have some issues. They might mess up some deliverables, but they also might find the better way to do it. And the key there is obviously, yes, we'd rather have them, have that freedom to innovate, freedom to create and figure those out, but that comes with that downside. And then you as the leader, you have to give them the guidance and the mentorship in order to help them along the way, letting them fail, letting them learn from those lessons, then applying them back so they can keep moving forward in a way that they're not going to make those same mistakes again. So it can be scary to give them that freedom, but that really is the key to the transformation for the organization. If somebody doesn't have a freedom to do their job, one, they're probably not going to be bought in, they're probably not going to be motivated, all those other aspects of it. But then two, they're never going to figure out a better way to do their job. They're going to take their job description you gave them. They're going to follow it word for word because that's what you told them to do. And they're never going to innovate anything. And so if you start talking about wanting a transformational organization, being a transformational leader, you have to give that freedom because that freedom is where the innovation is going to come from. And that is going to bring some failure sometimes, but you as a leader have to be okay with that. And you have to give them the mentorship and the guidance in order to, one, limit those failures, but then two, when they do fail, make sure they're learning from those mistakes so we can move forward better as a team. And a little secret sauce there, help the rest of the team learn from those mistakes too. You don't want somebody making one mistake and then you just keep it in their silo. You want to teach others about that mistake so that they can learn, and again, in their own work, taking ownership over their problems. I can learn from somebody else's mistake, apply it to my own problem set, and then you're preventing another failure from happening inside the organization. The last piece here for transformational leadership is continue to iterate. None of these things happen in a vacuum. I already talked about how long-term this is. When you start talking about organizational transformation, you talk about changing the culture of an organization, developing this new culture of excellence where everyone has ownership over their problems, has the freedom to operate inside of those problems, freedom to fail, all those kind of things. That's going to take a long time. And you as a leader have to be okay with that. And you have to be willing to continue to iterate. Maybe it's changing the vision. Maybe it's adjusting things, tweaking things as you go. But whatever it is, you can never become stagnant in this. The way I like to think about it is if you were, let's say you got a dog, right? And you got a dog to be a guard dog and you trained him to chase down people that break in your house, all those kind of things.